What a night in the NBA. We have the triumphant return of Jayson Tatum as the Boston Celtics blow out the Dallas Mavericks 120 to 100. Boston moving to 42 and 21. They are the number 2 team in the Eastern Conference, and they just got back Jayson Tatum, arguably their best player over the last half decade, in 27 minutes of action. 15 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. Tatum started off this game with 5 assists in the first quarter. He was pressing a little bit with his shot, 0 for 6 from the field to start. Even blew a clear path dunk at one point. But then he was able to get an offensive rebound, had a putback dunk to get going. From there, hit a step back 3, a jab step 3. Was just a very willing passer throughout this game. Was not looking to attack the rim hard. That kind of shows up in his shooting line, which was a 3 for 8 on twos, 3 for 8 on threes, and did not take a free throw. Dallas was gassed on the second night of a back-to-back in this game. They were also without an NBA caliber rim protector, as Daniel Gafford was out, so Dwight Powell, he got the start, and Moussa Cisse was his backup. So, not a lot going on defensively for the Mavericks in this one. Boston definitely picked a good night to let Tatum come back and get acclimated. But the schedule for the Celtics is going to get much tougher next week with games against Cleveland, San Antonio, and Oklahoma City. So it's going to be a huge test for the team and for Jayson Tatum as he's coming off this torn Achilles. His rating changes after this one game. We're going to go through based on what I saw. I think as a finisher, it's probably fair to say out of the gate, probably not going to be anywhere close to what he was in his last couple years. That's probably not going to come back until next season. I would guess he blew a bunny layup actually in this one. At least the commentators were actually joking that it could have been like a pass to Jaylen Brown off the glass because he caught it and he had a layup. But yeah, it's not normal for a player of Tatum's stature to like miss a bunny that badly. It didn't seem like he was trying to pass it or anything, as it looked like a layup. But I am going to drop his layup rating by 5 points. He blew that clear path dunk. We were going to drop his dunk rating by 5 points at the outset. He didn't draw a foul in this one, so we're going to drop his draw foul rating 10 points. Ball handle, he was the number 1 option on this team last year. Jaylen Brown has kind of stepped forth into that alpha mantle, and Jaylen Brown essentially was. They were letting Tatum get his for the most part, but with the game on the line, anytime Tatum hit the bench, JB basically took over. So we are going to reduce Tatum's offensive load, his shot creation a little bit with dropping his ball handle by 5 points. Worth noting, Tatum, as far as I can tell, did not have a post-up in this game, so his post-up ratings are something to keep an eye on, but I'm not going to overreact to that because in general, he only took like 1.5 post-ups per game anyway, so, we'll see what happens moving forward with that. Going over to some of his athleticism ratings, because it's like the biggest thing. So obviously, only played 27 minutes in this one. He's going to be a little bit restricted with his minutes. He was actually only expected to play like 20, but he just looked so good they kept him in. So we're going to drop him down to like an 85 stamina, which is like an average stamina. He played starter minutes in this one, so I think that's pretty appropriate. Going to drop his agility by 5 points. Just not really going to push himself all that hard. Still pretty, he looked pretty good out there, pretty spry. You could barely tell, if you didn't know that he was injured or coming off an injury, you really wouldn't have been able to tell. But we drop his agility by 5 points. Probably safe to say his vertical we could drop by 5 points, just based on father time anyway. Players tend to lose a little bit of vertical pop as they get to their late 20s anyway. So, yeah, we'll drop that a little bit. Obviously, his dunks, he did not look explosive with the dunking in this one. So, we'll drop his dunk rating, his vertical rating rather, a little bit. And then just like some of the stuff that really inflates his overall rating a little bit. Like the offensive consistency is probably not going to be at an elite level this year. We'll drop that down to a 90. And then shot IQ, his shot selection, coming off the injury, he's still finding himself. We'll drop that 10 points to an 80. So we dropped him 2 points in overall rating. Let's now address his badges, which I'm going to go through this menu just so we can see how some of these affect it. Unfortunately, you can't even see what the names of the badges are, annoyingly. Jesus Christ. But just going over some of Tatum's actual badges, you can see he's got a couple or I have him with a couple Hall of Fames. I don't actually remember what 2Ks got him at, but Deadeye, Lightning Launch, Shifty Shooter. We're going to drop all of these down to golds. I've got Posterizer Gold on him. Again, he blew that dunk. I'm going to drop this down to a silver. And then I think those, yeah, that's going to be my only badge changes. Again, you could drop some of like his other badges. Like I dropped his draw foul rating by 10 points, right? So I've got physical finisher bronze on him. We'll see, you know, whether or not I end up removing that from him. Defensively, I don't know if maybe we could remove Pick Dodger from him because I don't think he's going to be really a point of attack defender on this team, given, you know, coming off the Achilles and stuff like that. So that's another one that could maybe go away. He did play pretty good defense in this one. Nobody was able to really take advantage of him at all. Obviously, Dallas not the greatest team in the world offensively right now, but break starter, we can keep that on. He had a nice outlet to Derek White during this game. Brick wall can actually probably go away, even though I kind of have this on him for just pick and roll purposes. He does play the 4. You know, we'll see. I'll leave this on him for now. Just we'll see what happens with the play-by-play data once he accumulates enough possessions this year. Versatile visionary, yeah, he was great with the passing. Yeah, post-up poet, keep an eye on these 2 badges. On-ball, you know, the defensive badges are probably fine. You need a little bit more of a sample, and obviously better offensive players for him to guard. I think limitless range probably going to drop. I'll just give it, you know, probably the rest of the year before I change that. KD mentioned that like your legs are like the last thing to come back, so like those deep range shots, KD basically stopped taking them in his career after his torn Achilles. And we'll see. Tatum himself was like 5 of 33 from 30 feet, from 30 to 34 feet last year. So that already in itself is like, maybe I should actually just have him at a bronze in general. But I just want to see how he's going to do the rest of the year before I tank that. Obviously, the deep 3 has been a big part of Tatum's game. He was better than 5 of 33 in previous seasons. But let's see. No, I think those are all fine. Strong handle, fine. Maybe that could be a silver. I don't know. Pogo stick actually maybe is something to, you know, I'll take a look at him athletically as the games go on. Layup Mixmaster, again, keep an eye on his finishing ability this year. That's probably a big one to keep an eye on. Bailout, actually, because he's going to be doing probably a lot less on the ball and not driving as much, you probably drop that down to a silver or something like that. But let's change some of these badges, and you're going to see how much some of these badges actually affect the overall rating. So we can see Deadeye affects, you know, it's a straight up 1 point decrease to his overall by dropping that. We're going to drop the Lightning Launch down, and then Shifty Shooter and Posterizer. This one's Posterizer, I believe. And then Shifty Shooter, we'll drop that, and that's going to drop him down to a 90 overall. And I think that's pretty fair for Jayson Tatum right now, as if you're not familiar with the rating scale that 2K kind of applies. 90 is like the borderline of like all-NBA, like all-star level of player. It's like a low-level all-NBA player, whereas like 95-ish is like where you have your MVP candidates start to pop up. Tatum was all-NBA first team for 5 consecutive years. Obviously, that streak is getting broken this year. I think it's fair just that he's not going to be at this level of a Jaylen Brown. Certainly, probably for the rest of this year. We'll see. You know, if he does ascend back to that level, we can always change him back pretty quickly. But it seems from the outset, I think this is just pretty fair to have him as like a low-level all-NBA level player. Like Jalen Johnson was an all-star this year, and I've got him at a 90. Pascal Siakam is he was an all-star this year. I've got him in an 88. Scotty Barnes, also an all-star, 88. So those are all Eastern Conference all-stars at the same position. So I think this is pretty fair out of the gate, and I'm very excited to see where things go from here. Not just for the rest of the season, but how he bounces back from this injury next year once he's got a whole off season to rebuild his body and everything. So yeah, just an overwhelmingly successful night for him. Great for the league. It's going to be the biggest story in the league over the next few months. As now, I mean, it's only one game. I don't want to overreact, but Detroit has been the number one team in the Eastern Conference all year. Their odds of winning a conference finals, they just significantly were impacted by Jayson Tatum's return. I would say that the Celtics, again, let's not get over our skis. It was one game against a tanking team. But it's with all the experience they have, and for him to have 5 weeks to kind of work himself back into shape, this is really awesome to see. What a wrench in the playoff race. Oh boy. As far as the rest of the Celtics team, Tatum started in place of Baylor Shireman, so he came off the bench. I shifted JB and Hauser down in the lineup as a result, as we got Tatum at the 4. So Hauser played his natural small forward, and JB played the 2 guards. So they have a lineup with pretty good size. Obviously Derek White is now playing point guard for this team. He's been so underappreciated this year, really transitioning to increasing his playmaking in the absence of Jayson Tatum in this one. So they just have great passing all around the lineup, great shooting. JB had 24 in this one. Derek White had 20. Pritchard had 18 off the bench, so he's still on this team too. Oh my gosh! And then Neemias Queta, he had a really good game. 16 points, 15 rebounds, big double-double. Not a lot of competition at center, so good to see him eat against some lunch. And he's averaging 10 and 8 in 25 minutes per game, finishing 65% of his twos. So I do have him also at an 82 overall, +2 from where I previously had him at. Also +2 from where the 2K Sports roster has him at. But a little bit of bad news in this game is the Celtics got back Jayson Tatum, but they basically immediately lost Nikola Vucevic. He got hurt 2 minutes into him coming off the bench in this game. Right ring finger fracture. So and it was reported during the game that he is going to have surgery on this and miss about a month. So he'll be coming back shortly before the playoffs. Kind of sucks, as obviously he hasn't played at all with Jayson Tatum. So they're not going to get a chance to work on their chemistry. I think a player of Tatum's defensive capabilities is actually probably something that Nikola Vucevic has desperately needed throughout his career. So it sucks that we are going to have to wait a little bit. But for the Celtics, they do have Luka Garza, who can very capably step in and fill that role. Probably is an even better player than Vucevic in general. Just Vucevic is the bigger name. But Garza, for what it's worth in this game, 10 points in 18 minutes in this one. Let's go on over to Dallas. They dropped to 21 and 42, 6-game losing streak for them. Cooper Flagg has also recently returned from injury, starting again at point guard, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists in this one. 7 of 23 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Had nearly an identical shooting line to his last game, which I didn't mention in the previous recap, but because it was a big part of his game, though. 7 of 22 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 3 of 3 from the line. So in his 2 games since returning, he's 14 of 45 from the field, 31%. He's 1 of 8 from 3, so 12.5%, and then 5 of 5 from the free throw line. Only 5 free throws versus 45 field goal attempts. Not a great ratio. So it's just tough for him to. They're asking so much out of him. They need him to be the number one scoring option and the primary facilitator and their top defensive player. So yeah, he's not going to shoot the ball well, especially when the defense is going to be able to load up on him on top of all that. So I wish they had better point guards on this team that they could actually, that they could actually play somebody next to him that could actually set him up. And Najee Marshall's really the only other quality ball handler on this team. basically does like Flag and Marshall are like too similar to actually like warrant really playing together. You kind of actually do want to stagger them a little bit. Klay Thompson has been really good over this back-to-back set that the Mavericks had. 19 points, 5 of 11 from 3, 11 of 23 from 3 over these last 2 games. I trickled him back up to a 78 overall plus 1. Going over to the Heat, they got a great win over the streaking Hornets, 128 to 120, ending the Hornets' 6-game winning streak. Hornets, when they had their full starting 5, they were 20-2 entering this game, so huge win for Miami. They are 35 and 29 for what it's worth. The Heat, they won their 4th in a row. They're a game behind the Raptors for 5th, and they trail the Sixers by mere percentage points for 6th. So they've worked their way. They're almost out of the play-in, and they'll probably finish out of the play-in at the current rate, which has been a goal for them. Bam Adebayo was saying he was very frustrated that like he can't believe we're in this play-in shit again. The Heat are very well coached by Eric Spoelstra, etc. So, the talent of this team is really good. They won this game despite the absence of Norm Powell hasn't played in about a week, 4-game absence for him. Andrew Wiggins missed this one. Fantecchio's missed the last 2. So they've had some absences, but they were able to overcome. Tyler Hero, a near triple-double, 33, 9, and 9. Was 8 of 10 from 3 in this one, a plus 19 in this game. 4 games since re-entering the starting lineup. He's 36 of 63 from the field, 57%. He's averaging 25. Really starting to round back into form. No overall boost for him in this one, but he was pretty close to that. Bam had 24 and 12. Since Wiggins was out, Myron Gardner, he got the start. Jaime Jaquez picked up some extra minutes as well. He had 21 points in 31 minutes. I actually want to have him at power forward instead. Whoops. And I do want to shift Nikola Jovic. Even though Jovic mostly plays like most of his minutes have come at the 4, I do want to have him at like as the 3rd string center on this team, just kind of like balance out the rotation a little bit better. It's always better to have like in general whenever there's 3 players, excluding 2-ways at each position, it kind of works out better for the team in general. But Khalil Ware. So Hawk has 21 points in 31 minutes. He picked up some minutes with Wiggins out, but it was really Khalil Ware that absorbed most of that. He played 31 minutes in this one, so they did go back to the Bam Ware lineups where Bam's at the 4. So that's a nice development for Ware, as he's kind of been only getting like 12 to 15 minutes a game in the interim since they went away from that. So yeah, just really huge win for the Heat. As far as the Hornets, they're still playing great. Khan, 27 points, 6 of 10 from 3. Brandon Miller had 22 in this one, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. LaMelo, 21 for him. He did shoot 7 of 22 from the field, so rough shooting night for him, but they've been really good. Kobe White had a solid one off the bench. Let's go on over to Houston, where they got a nice win over the Blazers, 106 to 99. They're now 39 and 23 on the season, moving into 4th I think they hold on to 4th in the Western Conference. But Jabari Smith Jr., he was out again, so Reed Shepherd re-entered the starting lineup, pushing Amen Thompson over. Reed, 17 points, 6 assists, 3 blocks. Amen, he just plays better when he's not at the point guard. 26 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 11 of 12 from the field. So he was awesome in this one, played 39 minutes. Again, I just don't like him as the actual point guard on this team. It really sucks that Fred VanVleet got hurt and that Amen's kind of had to play out of position the entire year. Alperen Sengun, 28 points, 11 of 15 from the field. He's more or less righted the ship this week. KD had 20 points. He and Sengun, though, did combine for 14 turnovers in this one, as the Portland Trailblazers, they have some guys who play really aggressive defense. Drew, he had 20 points, 10 assists. Scoot Henderson, unfortunately, not taking advantage of another start with Chris Murray out. 4 points, 1 of 9 from the field, so I might end up dropping his rating a little bit once I get a chance to revisit him. Donovan Clingan, big double-double, 18 points, 13 rebounds. Jeremy Grant adding 21 points off the bench. No, sorry, in the starting lineup. My mistake. Tamani Kamara, 16 points. He had 6 steals in this one. I believe that's a season high. And then Matisse Thybulle, 4 steals in 12 minutes. He's led the league in steal percentage a number of times. Would usually injuries are mainly the only reason he hasn't qualified for it the last couple of years, but he's basically the best best ball thief in the league. Those two guys causing a lot of havoc on the defensive end in this game. Let's head on over to Denver, where this isn't even going to make it into the title of this video. That's how big Tatum's return was. But the Nuggets, they got back Aaron Gordon and Cam Johnson in this game, but it did not stop them from getting destroyed by the Knicks, 142 to 103. Unfortunately, in typical Denver fashion, they get someone back and someone else goes down. Jamal Murray leaves with an ankle injury, only played 18 minutes in this game. Does not look great. Does look like he is going to have to miss some time. Probably my guess is at least 2 weeks, if not like a month. That's just my general take on that. So that's really unfortunate. Murray's had a great season. He's really held down the fort in the absence of all of these guys. He's probably been, I don't want to say he's been more valuable than Jokic, but he's probably been, I would say, their most important player because he was carrying them offensively even with Nikola Jokic out. He's really elevated his game. They're running a lot more through him in the pick and roll than they previously had been over the last couple of years. So he's had an All-NBA year. We'll see if this injury takes him out of the running for that, but it's really disappointing news, especially because the Denver Nuggets, they are struggling. They're only 19-19 in their last 38 games. Obviously, they've dealt with a lot of injuries over the last couple months of the year, but they've fallen down to 5th in the Western Conference standings, and they've got the Lakers nipping on their heels. So they could fall into play-in territory if they're not careful. Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, he's going to do everything he can to prevent that from happening. 38 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists in this game where they got destroyed by the Knicks, 142 to 103, by the way. I forgot if I mentioned any of that, but 13 of 14 from 2, 1 of 7 from 3. Sometimes he's on, sometimes he's off. 9 of 10 from the free throw line, played 31 minutes. But it was not enough. Obviously, they got killed. He doesn't do much in the way of defense. Aaron Gordon, only 3 points in this one. Struggled offensively. 3 points, 21 minutes for him. Cam Johnson, 10 points, 22 minutes. He was a little bit better in his return. Jonas Valanciunas, only 2 minutes in this one. I don't believe he got hurt. I think it was just kind of because of the return of Aaron Gordon and then just the garbage time nature of this game. Tyus Jones made his debut. Played 12 minutes of garbage time. Ditto for David Roddy, who recently joined this team as well on a two-way. 6 minutes for him in garbage time. So yeah, Denver dropped a game behind the Rockets for 4th. Oh boy, Western Conference has a very tight race. Doesn't seem like they're going to be able to keep pace with Minnesota either. They just ascended to 3rd in the conference. So Denver wanted to have home court going in the playoffs. Doesn't seem like that's likely to happen now. New York, they moved to 41-23 on the year. OG Anunoby with his best game of the season. 34 points, 11 of 17 from the field, 6 of 11 from 3, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals. It's really awesome all-around game for him. 17 and 13 for Karl Anthony Towns. Jalen Brunson, 9 points, only 3 of 13 from the field, but who cares? They won by 41. Or 39, I believe. 15 assists for him, second consecutive game for him with 15. So he's really been getting the entire team involved. Pakomi Dade taking advantage of this extended garbage time. Career high 11 points for him in 9 minutes. 4 of 5 from the field, 3 for 3 from 3. So he may finally get above. I do have him at a 71 overall. 2K's got him at a 69. Which it's very rare for them to have a standard contract player under 70. I give a little more weight, I guess, to like his defensive ratings and things that kind of get him above a 71. But his offensive ratings, you can see, are just flat out terrible with a 60 layup, 50 close shot. So that, and even 76 3 is not great. So hey, maybe I'll get him up to a 72 by the end of the year. Who knows? I've just been very disappointed with him overall as a player. Landry Shamet has been awesome this year, basically filling in as the backup for OG Anunoby most of the season. Knicks are a game and a half behind the Celtics and a game and a half ahead of the Cavs. So it is worth noting the Celtics, they did get back Jayson Tatum, but they do have this really difficult schedule next week. So don't be surprised if the Knicks are able to claw their way back into second in the Eastern Conference. We'll see what happens next week. Phoenix, they got a nice win over the Pels. 118 to 116. They now are 36 and 27 on the year. Jalen Green with a bounce back game in this one, 25 points, 8 of 17 from the field. Devin Booker led the way with 32. Oso Ighodaro starting another game in the absence of Mark Williams. 13 points, 6 rebounds, 5 of 7 from the field, fouled out in 27 minutes. I did promise that I would get his rating up yesterday, so 78 overall is +3 from where I previously had it at. This is also a +2 from where the 2K Sports roster has it at. And then Kamen Malawach, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 5 blocks, 20 minutes. I did drop his rating, 72 overall, -1. But this is based on his current sample so far, rather than I actually had done that prior to his performance in this game. I can see that actually changing in a hurry, given the opportunity that he is going to have down the stretch, essentially going to be in the rotation finally after barely playing most of this year. So even though I did drop him, that very likely is just going to be temporary. We'll see how he is at finishing at the rim and things like that. I did drop him all the way down to a 55 close shot rating, as I think he came into this game 2 for 8 on close shots. So we'll obviously he's played a very small sample so far, but he's mostly known as like a rim protector. Obviously a 7'7" wingspan. So if anything, I would expect. What's his block rating? 85. No, yeah, 85. Yeah, I can see that easily being in the 90s, if not maxed out at 99, depending on what some of his per minute numbers end up being. Worth noting, Haywood Highsmith made his Suns debut finally. He played 2 seconds as a defensive replacement at the end of a quarter. So good to see him finally get back in the game. I was kind of curious what the deal was there, but I guess they're just not ready to acclimate him offensively just as of yet. The Pels, they dropped to 20 and 45. They went centerless again. Seems like a good strategy against the Suns, who they're starting Oso Ighodaro, who doesn't have a lot of size or anything. Zion's probably a good matchup for him. So yeah, they start Zion again at the 5, basically just running their 5 best players on the team. Zion had 19 and 10. Murphy had 22. Bey had 19. And then DeJounte Murray back in the lineup. Didn't play the first half of a back-to-back. 15, 8, and 5 for him in 30 minutes. Let's check in on him in his return from a torn Achilles. Likewise, so 4 games prior to this one, averaging 16 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.8 steals in only 25 minutes per game. So he's shooting 46% from the field. Last year, he was only at 39% from the field. So last year was just like a really super down season for Murray. It just had nothing to do with the injury. Just like that bad vibes Pels team that had all the injuries. So far, he's actually playing at the level that he was at in Atlanta. So I did boost his overall rating +2. And that is also a +4 from where the 2K Sports roster has him at. We'll see. I feel like the Pels are just building up the value of some of these guys so that they can trade them. I mean, then again, who knows? This is a Troy Weaver, Joe Dumars team, so they're not the sharpest knives in the drawer. At least that's if I was running the Pels, that's what I would be doing. I'd just be trying to build Zion's trade value, build DeJounte Murray's trade value, and rebuild my team around Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen. Derek Queen, by the way, 4 points, 1 of 4 from the field, 3 turnovers, only 13 minutes. in this game, so he looks like he is completely out of the mix. I actually did drop his overall rating by a point since it looks like he is going to be coming off the bench for the rest of the season. Going over to the Spurs, man, what a team they are right now. They rallied from 25 down to beat the Clippers. Uh, Wemby, 27 points, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks, only played 22 minutes. I think I read that right. Did the box score not completely load on NBA.com? I'm not sure why he only played 22 minutes. If that's the case, yeah, 21 and a half minutes. One of those games where he took 21 shots. Let me see if I can actually find anything in the NBA's like breakdown or anything. Yeah, I'm not sure why because he wasn't in foul trouble either. I'm not. I would have to look that up just to get a more concrete answer for you guys. But he was just absolutely awesome in this game. Obviously, that's a deranged line. Super productive for him in such a short amount of time. Champagny, 20 points, 5 of 8 from 3 in this one. He's been awesome since becoming a starter for this team. And De'Aaron Fox, quietly having a little bit of a bounce back week. 19 points and 9 assists. Spurs have won 9 of their last 10. They're still 2.5 behind OKC for the best record in the NBA. The Clippers, tough loss for them. They dropped to 30 and 32, still in that play-in mix, of course. Brook Lopez turned back the clock in a big way. 26 points, 4 steals, 34 minutes, 11 of 19 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3. Kawhi Leonard, 30 points, 3 steals. Darius Garland and John Collins, both DNPs in this game. It's the first game of back-to-back for the Clippers, so they'll be back in the next one, I'm sure. Benedict Mathurin, only 8 points on 3 of 12 from the field, coming off the bench. Might have felt the absence of Darius Garland, as those two have played pretty well together so far. Garland, I did actually drop his overall rating by a point, as he has been coming off the bench. What a fall it's been for him this year. I have 6 points lower than what I had him at last year as a 90 overall rated player, borderline all NBA. And now he's not even like really in like that all-star range, just like a tick above. He's a quality starter or a high-level six-man. I have Ty Jerome at an 84 overall rating. Ty Jerome was Darius Garland's backup last year, so that just gives you an idea of how far Garland has fallen so far. And obviously, coming off the bench, if anything, I might just drop his rating even further if he's only going to be playing minutes in like the 20s, in the low 20s or anything. Going over crosstown to the other LA team, the Lakers. They got a big win, 128 to 117 over the Pacers. Big win because they were without LeBron James and DeAndre Ayton. LeBron hurt his elbow late in their last game yesterday, so DeAndre Ayton also got hurt in that game. So it fell to Luka to carry against, fortunately, one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA, the Pacers. 44 points in 31 minutes for him. He had 22 in the first quarter, only played 3 quarters in this one, so could have easily had 50. 14 of 25 from the field, 7 of 14 from 3, 9 of 10 from the free throw line, so probably his most efficient performance of the season. Austin Reeves added 19 to provide a secondary source. Rui and Hayes moved into the starting lineup, although they didn't do too much. Vando and Drew Tim were in the rotation. Maxi Kleber's also out with an injury, so the Lakers pretty short-handed in the front court at the present moment. So we'll see if they're able to make any headway. There is blood in the water in Denver, but and Phoenix also is still without Dillon Brooks for the rest of the year, but hopefully LeBron doesn't have to miss extended time. Same with DeAndre Ayton. It would really suck for the Lakers if they fell into the play-in mix. That is definitely something they are trying to avoid. Pacers, I don't really have any notes for them. Pascal Siakam led them with 26. So let's just call it. What a night in the NBA. It's going to be a fun weekend. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.